Have you ever felt like your thoughts were not your own? Like you were a passenger in your own mind, helplessly watching the drama unfold? Have you ever considered that forces, both internal and external, are constantly vying for control of your most valuable asset, your mind? This is not some sci-fi fantasy. This is the daily battle for your reality. Your every action, every decision, every emotion is directly shaped by the landscape of your thoughts. Now imagine if that landscape is not yours to navigate, if it's been subtly reshaped by influences you aren't even aware of. This is the grim reality for many, and the truth that is kept hidden. If your mind is a battlefield, then who is winning? If you don't actively take the reins, you will lose. Are you being guided, or are you simply being dragged along? In this video, we are going to confront this unsettling question. We're not here to scare you, but to empower you, to reveal the truth about your mind and hand you the tools you need to take back control. We will delve into the science, the history, and the strategies that hold the key to unlocking your true potential. We will expose the subtle and not so subtle ways your thoughts can be manipulated. Today, we'll be exploring this profound topic, and I've broken it down into 4 crucial chapters. Chapter 1, the architecture of your mind, the inner world of control. We'll dissect what mind control truly means, not just as some sinister plot, but as the very real internal struggle we all face. We'll break down the mental components that create your current thinking patterns, examining how your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are formed. We will delve into the neuroscientific foundations of thought control and reveal how it directly impacts your life's trajectory. Chapter 2, the manipulators, external forces shaping your thoughts. Here, we shine a spotlight on the external influences attempting to manipulate your mind. From the constant bombardment of information and misinformation through media and technology to the psychological tactics employed by those who seek to control your behavior and purchasing habits. We'll explore the power of propaganda, social pressure, and emotional manipulation. We will see how these forces can subtly redirect the course of our lives. Chapter 3, Reclaiming Your Domain, Strategies for Mental Fortitude. Now, for the good news. In this section, we arm you with powerful, actionable strategies to reclaim your mental territory. We will examine mindfulness techniques, cognitive reframing, and resilience-building exercises. We'll discuss methods to identify and counter negative thought patterns, how to cultivate your inner strength, and we will give you tools to become your own mental guardian. Chapter 4, the transformation, changing your life from within. In this final section, we will examine how taking control of your mind is not just some academic exercise, but the key to unlocking your full potential and changing your life for the better. We'll examine real-life examples of individuals who have successfully transformed their lives through deliberate mental cultivation. We'll explore the direct connection between thought mastery and overall well-being, happiness, and success. Music shifts to a more positive, inspiring tone, but retains a sense of urgency. Now let's delve into Chapter 1. Chapter 1, the architecture of your mind, the inner world of control. The very concept of mind control often conjures up images of secret societies, brainwashing techniques, and sinister government programs. While such overt forms of manipulation do exist, and we will touch upon them, what's far more relevant and insidious is the internal battle we wage daily within ourselves for control of our own minds. What we call our mind is not a monolithic entity, but a complex system comprising our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, habits, and patterns. Every single one of these components interacts with each other and influences your every action. The way you react to situations, your choices, and your very perceptions are all filtered through this complex framework. Your brain, the physical organ, is a remarkable processor, but your mind is the software that runs within it and the software you are in control of. Your mind is where your personal reality is formed and where both great triumphs and crushing defeats are created, first as a thought and then into life. Understanding the structure of your mind is the crucial first step in taking control of it. Your thought patterns, often formed in early childhood, become deeply ingrained, creating neurological pathways that act as a sort of internal autopilot. This autopilot, while efficient in many ways, can also become a source of limitation, perpetuating negative thinking loops and self-defeating behaviors. The human mind, as both a physical and non-physical construct, is not fixed, but a dynamic entity, ever-changing, capable of growth and transformation. The ability to reshape your own mind is not an esoteric concept, it's the bedrock of personal development and the gateway to true freedom. The process of mind control starts with understanding the delicate balance of the mental systems at play within your own mind. Think of it as an internal power struggle between the different forces that want influence. The idea that we are in control of our thoughts often seems self-evident. Yet the reality is that our minds are subject to a constant barrage of internal chatter and external influence. From the moment we wake up, our minds are bombarded with a torrent of stimuli, from news headlines to social media notifications, from advertisements to the opinions of others. These forces all tug at our mental landscape, often without our awareness or conscious consent. The constant stream of information and the opinions of others shape the way we think and feel and the decisions we make. Think about that. Your mind is an environment where outside forces constantly try to take over, to dominate and dictate your path. Your mind is constantly trying to reconcile your internal world with the outside world, and this tug of war never ends. This struggle is not some theoretical debate. It's the daily battleground where your sense of self, your goals, and ultimately your entire life's trajectory is forged. When you understand the architecture of your mind, you will see that it can easily be manipulated by internal forces like negative self-talk, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs, or by external forces designed to make you do something they want. Our brain is wired to respond to emotional triggers, and these responses, while often beneficial in situations of immediate danger, can be easily exploited by external sources. Marketers, for instance, use these emotional vulnerabilities to entice us to buy products we don't need. Politicians use them to garner support, and even our own family and friends can use these same emotional triggers to manipulate our behavior. These subtle but powerful manipulations are often not deliberate, but they have a profound effect on the decisions you make and the direction your life takes. Emotional manipulation plays a major role in the battle for your mind. The exploitation of vulnerabilities is a constant and ongoing force that you will face, whether it be through fear, insecurity, or a sense of belonging. Understanding these emotional levers and learning to recognize and disarm them is an essential part of taking control. These emotional responses don't come from nowhere. They come from your core beliefs, and understanding those beliefs is key to taking control of your emotional state and therefore control of your thoughts. Every thought is born from a belief, so changing the belief can change the thought. That is the cornerstone of the battle for mind control. If you want to take control of your life, you first need to take control of your thoughts. This is not just a philosophical concept. Neuroscientific research, through studies using brain imaging and neurofeedback techniques, has revealed the direct correlation between our thoughts, beliefs, and the physical structures of our brains. The practice of mindfulness and meditation, for example, has been shown to induce structural changes in the brain, such as increased gray matter volume in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for higher-level cognitive functions, including decision-making and emotional regulation. This demonstrates that we have the power to physically rewire our brains through our thoughts, and that this is not just a theory, but has been proven and is well documented. If you are not in control, you will be controlled. Studies have also demonstrated that the repeated engagement with negative thought patterns can have negative effects on brain chemistry, leading to increased stress hormones and a greater predisposition towards anxiety and depression. Conversely, by actively cultivating positive and empowering thought patterns, we can literally change our brain chemistry and improve our overall well-being and life experience. The power to control our minds is directly connected to our brain's neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt, change, and evolve. This neuroplasticity is the key to changing your mind. This constant state of flux allows us to both adapt to the environment and to deliberately reshape it as well. Understanding how your mind works, how it's formed, and constantly reshaped by your experiences and beliefs is the first step. It is an environment constantly under siege from multiple forces, from the emotional levers that are pulled to manipulate your beliefs to the inner chatter that creates a cycle of negative thought loops. These forces seek to redirect and control your life. Understanding your mind and how it works is essential in creating true and lasting change. The good news is that you are not destined to be a prisoner of your own mind. You have the power to influence these forces. Armed with knowledge, awareness, and some deliberate strategies, you can take back control and shape your mental environment for the better. Once you understand the nature of the beast, you can then arm yourself with the weapons to take back control. And in the next chapter, we are going to examine how the forces outside of your own mind are trying to control you. Music becomes more intense, slightly ominous, leading into Chapter 2. Chapter 2, The Manipulators. External forces shaping your thoughts. The battle for our minds is not confined to our internal world. As we've seen, external forces are constantly bombarding us, seeking to influence our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, often without our awareness. This influence can range from the subtle suggestions embedded in advertising to the outright propaganda employed by governments and organizations with ulterior motives. The modern world is awash with information, and separating fact from fiction and truth from manipulation has become a significant challenge. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we're constantly being targeted by media, social platforms, and other sources, each vying for our attention and influencing the way we see the world. We live in an age of information warfare, where our minds have become the battlefield, where the victors are those that can control your attention and your opinions. One of the most pervasive forms of external manipulation is the constant barrage of messages conveyed through mass media and advertising. These messages, often designed to appeal to our emotions and insecurities, create a sense of lack, which is a major manipulation point. By creating this desire for something we don't have, we are compelled to purchase things that we don't really need in a constant cycle. The constant barrage of consumerism not only depletes our financial resources, but also our mental energy as we navigate the constant stream of new things we want. The aim of this type of manipulation is not to inform, but to compel. It is designed to bypass our rational thinking and trigger our emotional responses. The aim is to get us to act without thinking. Social media platforms have become another significant battleground in this constant war for our minds. They employ sophisticated algorithms to create echo chambers, which are designed to keep us engaged by reinforcing our existing beliefs and preferences. This lack of exposure to dissenting opinions creates a distorted view of reality and can make us more vulnerable to manipulation. The curated nature of social media often leads to the normalization of extremes and the creation of a false sense of reality, making it difficult for many to separate what is real and what is propaganda. The result is a society that is becoming increasingly polarized and less capable of rational discourse. The very nature of social media platforms is designed to be addictive, constantly seeking to maximize your engagement and time spent on the platform. This constant engagement has real effects, from increasing feelings of anxiety and depression to the erosion of your own sense of self. Each view, each like, each follow is a way that social media manipulates your dopamine system. The very design of the platform creates a self-perpetuating cycle of desire, and this is not an accident, it is done by design. Social media has become a tool for mass manipulation, and those in power are fully aware of its effect and are willing to use it to their advantage. Political propaganda is another form of external manipulation that has become increasingly pervasive, utilizing fear, anger, and resentment to sway public opinion, often with little regard for facts and truth. History is littered with examples of governments and political factions using these strategies to manipulate the thoughts and beliefs of their own citizens, and we are not immune to it today. Think of the power of a single well-placed meme. It is a way to communicate an idea without having to rely on logic or reason. The use of repetition, emotional appeals, and half-truths can create a potent cocktail that can lead to the acceptance of falsehoods and the erosion of critical thinking. This is done by design and has been for a long time. The techniques for creating propaganda have been perfected and are being used more often now than ever before. The result of this constant barrage of misinformation is that we are more likely to become disengaged and distrustful of the world. Those who are trying to manipulate the population rely on this state of disengagement to further their own agendas. The less you trust in your own beliefs and in the information you receive, the more vulnerable you are to those trying to manipulate you. Furthermore, the sheer volume of information available in the modern age can be overwhelming, creating a state of what is called information overload or cognitive fatigue. When we are constantly bombarded with information, we become less capable of critical thinking, which leaves us more susceptible to the effects of manipulation. This leads to a kind of paralysis, where it's easier to accept what we're told than to take the time to verify what is true and what is not. This state of cognitive overload is a tool that manipulators use to their advantage, because when we feel overwhelmed, we are more likely to accept the simplest explanation or the most emotionally compelling message, regardless of the truth. This is why it's crucial that we become aware of the mechanisms by which we are being manipulated, and we take steps to protect ourselves. Knowing that these forces exist and knowing their methods is the first step in building a strong foundation of resistance. In this never-ending battle for your mind, you must learn to recognize the manipulators and their tools, and in the next chapter, we will arm you with the counter-strategies you need to take back control. Music transitions to a more uplifting but determined sound. Chapter 3. Reclaiming Your Domain. Strategies for Mental Fortitude. Now that we've examined the internal battles and the external forces that are constantly shaping our thoughts, it's time to arm ourselves with the tools and strategies necessary to take back control. This is the critical step on your journey to mental freedom, from being a passenger in your own mind to becoming the pilot. It is not enough to simply recognize the forces that are trying to influence you. We must also cultivate the strength and skills necessary to resist and overcome them. It's time to stop reacting and start consciously acting. This process is about reclaiming the territory of your mind and making it your own. The journey is not always easy, but with dedication and deliberate effort, you can create the mental fortitude to navigate the complex world in a way that serves you and your goals. One of the most powerful tools in our mental arsenal is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a way of training your attention to focus on the present moment without judgment. It's a way to observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise, without getting caught up in them. By doing so, we create space between us and our thoughts and become less reactive to the internal and external forces that try to pull us in different directions. Mindfulness is not about emptying your mind. It is about becoming aware of what is already there. The practice of mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations as they arise without getting carried away by them. This awareness helps us to recognize our own thought patterns and triggers, so we are better able to see when we are being manipulated and understand why. Mindfulness practices have been scientifically proven to reduce stress, improve focus, and cultivate greater emotional resilience. This is a key tool for reclaiming your mind, because when you can understand the mechanisms by which your thoughts are controlled, you can then start to change them. It also provides an essential sense of calm and clarity that allows you to make more deliberate decisions rather than reacting impulsively. It is the cornerstone of mental freedom. Another important strategy is cognitive reframing, which is the process of challenging and changing negative or unhelpful thought patterns. The way you think is not fixed, but is influenced by your beliefs, and your beliefs can be changed. The human mind has an inclination towards the negative, and this process is designed to address this. Through this practice, we learn to identify the patterns of negativity and to find alternative interpretations of events. This might involve challenging self-defeating beliefs, questioning assumptions, and seeking a more balanced and positive perspective. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," you can reframe that thought into, "I am a work in progress, but I am constantly learning and growing." When you change your perspective, you change your experience. The ability to reframe your thoughts is directly connected to your ability to change your life. Cognitive reframing has been shown to significantly reduce anxiety, depression, and other negative mental states. The power to change your thoughts is literally in your own hands and is one of the key elements in reclaiming control of your own mind. The ability to reframe a thought is the ability to see the world in a new way. When you are able to see the world in a new way, you are better able to shape it into the world you want it to be. Building resilience is another crucial aspect of strengthening your mental fortitude. This is the ability to bounce back from adversity, learn from challenges, and maintain a sense of optimism in the face of difficulty. The world will never be without problems, but how you react to these challenges is what will determine your outcome. Resilience is not about avoiding challenges altogether. It's about developing the mental strength to navigate them effectively. A resilient person is not one who never falls, but one who gets up every time they fall. Resilience is not some innate quality, but it is a skill that can be cultivated and developed. Resilience is a byproduct of continuous personal growth. Through mindful effort and deliberate practice, you can build the mental and emotional strength to withstand all of the external influences that are trying to pull you off your path. The greater your resilience, the more in control you become. This strength is not about being rigid, but about being adaptable and flexible. It's about learning to ride the waves, not be drowned by them. When you become more resilient, you become less prone to the manipulations of outside forces. Additionally, developing strong critical thinking skills is vital for defending yourself against misinformation and propaganda. This involves learning to question, evaluate, and analyze information before accepting it as true. This is especially important in today's information-saturated environment. In an environment where there are so many narratives vying for your attention, you must be able to tell the difference between the truth and a manipulation. By engaging in critical thinking, you can begin to make informed decisions about your life, instead of simply going along with what others tell you is the truth. The very skill of critical thinking is under attack. And by learning it, you take a step closer to claiming control of your mind. You will also need to take responsibility for the information you consume. And when you develop the ability to see through manipulations, you will be able to see the world in a new way. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind, and that starts with becoming a critical thinker. These are not simply abstract ideas, but practical strategies that you can implement in your daily life. These tools are not complex or hard to use, but they do require dedication and practice. The process of reclaiming your mind is an ongoing one. It's not a destination, but a journey, and each step you take is bringing you closer to greater clarity, understanding, and control. By incorporating these strategies into your life, you will not only protect yourself from external manipulators, but also from negative internal patterns that have been shaping your experience. You are more powerful than you realize. Music becomes more triumphant and empowering, leading into the final chapter. Chapter 4. The Transformation. Changing your life from within. The journey of mind control, or rather self-control, is not an abstract philosophical exercise, but a practical pathway to profound personal transformation. When you learn to take control of your thoughts, you change the way you interact with the world. When you change your thoughts, you change your actions. When you change your actions, you change your life. This final section is about the tangible benefits of embracing mental mastery. The power to change your life is directly linked to your ability to change your thoughts. And when you realize that you can change your thoughts, you will realize that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the architect of your own experience. This section is not just theoretical. It's about the practical applications and real-world results that come from taking control. First and foremost, by mastering your mind, you unlock the ability to cultivate greater levels of happiness and well-being. It's often said that happiness is an inside job, and this is absolutely true. By learning to control your thoughts, you are able to choose how you feel, which is the real key to lasting happiness. When you are no longer a slave to negative patterns, you are better able to create more positive emotions, and in doing so, you drastically reduce your susceptibility to anxiety and depression. You develop an internal resilience that allows you to see the good in all situations, and to focus on solutions instead of dwelling on problems. It's not about ignoring difficulties, but seeing them as learning experiences, and that is a skill that you can learn. Through techniques like mindfulness and cognitive reframing, you can take control of the narrative that you tell yourself, and instead of being your own worst critic, you become your greatest ally. Mental mastery is about creating a joyful and more fulfilling life, and the first step is to become aware of your thoughts. Secondly, mental mastery allows you to unleash your full potential and achieve your goals. When you are no longer hindered by limiting beliefs or self-doubt, you become free to explore new possibilities and pursue your dreams. The negative voice in your head is simply a pattern, and patterns can be changed. This is where your mental resilience becomes your most powerful ally. The people that achieve the greatest things in life are not those without doubt, but those that learn to push forward despite that doubt. When you understand your own thoughts, you are better able to direct that energy and focus it towards your goals. The same amount of energy that can lead to self-doubt can be redirected into self-belief. This freedom from self-imposed limitations allows you to create and realize your most ambitious visions. Your mind is a limitless resource, and it is your duty to develop it to its fullest potential. Furthermore, mental mastery can significantly improve your relationships and create more harmonious connections with others. When you are less reactive and more grounded, you are better able to communicate effectively. This creates more empathy and allows for deeper and more meaningful connections. This is not just about you. By controlling your own thoughts, you are able to make the world around you a better place. The ability to control your own mind has a profound effect on how you interact with others. By taking the time to understand your own feelings and reactions, you will also become better at understanding others. When you control your mind, you become less prone to misunderstanding and conflict, and this ultimately makes your relationships stronger and more rewarding. The path of mental mastery is not a destination, but a continual process of growth and development. The goal is not to attain to some ideal state of perfect control, but to become more self-aware, resilient, and effective in how you navigate the challenges of your life. With each step you take, you are reclaiming your own mind and creating your own future. The more time you invest in understanding yourself, the more you will be able to understand the world around you. This is not some fantasy. This is not some theoretical exercise. This is a real and tangible way to make your life better in every way. You do not have to be a slave to your circumstances. You are the master of your own mind. And that leads us to the conclusion of this video on the crucial power of controlling your mind. We've explored the internal and external forces that try to dictate your thoughts, and we've armed you with powerful strategies to reclaim your mental sovereignty. The journey ahead may not be easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Remember, your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and when you take control of it, you unlock the key to changing your life. Your journey to transformation begins today. The music becomes more inspirational and powerful. Visuals show empowering imagery of a lone figure climbing a mountain and the transformation from chaos to calm. Final thoughts. Before we conclude, I want to emphasize that the power to transform your life lies within you. Taking control of your mind is not a luxury, it is a necessity. By understanding your own thought processes and by actively cultivating your inner strength, you are on your way to creating a better life for yourself and for the world. Through mindfulness, cognitive reframing, resilience, and critical thinking, you can forge a pathway to greater clarity, happiness, and success. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. Remember that the forces that are trying to manipulate you are many and they are constant. But you also have access to powerful tools that are within your control. You have the power to shape your own life through controlling your thoughts. It's up to you to learn to use this power. This isn't just some motivational rhetoric. This is the scientific reality. The power to change your life is within you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Now go and take control of your mind and therefore take control of your life.